Once your clay is on center, you can begin throwing. To throw a pot means to create it on a potter's wheel. The first thing that we need to do to make our cylinder today is to drop the hole. As a right-handed person, my left hand will be stable, not really pressing against the clay. And my right index and middle finger are going to drop the hole in the center. This is going to create the inside of the cylinder. Everything should be wet and slide, but my hands will press against each other for stability. Notice that they touch here and here. My elbows are still on my legs. I find the center with the tip of my right index and middle finger, and I begin to drop the hole. If I feel friction, I loosen and release and get some more water. I drop the hole until I'm about 1/4 of an inch from the wheel head, so that I'm leaving 1/4 of an inch of clay for my base. I can check to see how much clay I have left by stopping the wheel, putting my needle tool down into the wheel until it stops at the wheel head, putting my finger on the needle where it's at the top of the clay, and pulling everything out. If I have at least 1/4 of an inch of clay, I'm good. If I have too much, I can continue to drop the hole and test again. If I have too little, I'll have to start over. After I've dropped the hole and made sure that I have the right amount down there, I'm going to open the hole. I put my fingers almost in the same place they were when I dropped the hole, but I'm going to mostly use the pad of my middle finger to open the hole. My left hand is going to support the outside because I don't want the clay to get any wider than that original tuna fish can. I will pull using the pad of the tip of my middle finger out so that I have a flat base and so that my wall is coming in just slightly at the top. Loosen and release. And that's how you open the hole. The next thing that you're going to do is compress the base. Many times you have to take the water out at this point so that you can see it. As a right-handed person, I'm going to work from the right side into the center. It's important to compress in towards the center so that you can get all the particles into place. We do not want to dig up any clay. We just want to press it using the pad of our finger. I like to use the sponge as well. I can repeat this as many times as I want, as long as I'm flattening the clay and I'm not scooping up a lot of clay. If you don't do this correctly, you can create cracks in the bottom of your pot. So it's important that you do this. Once your base is flat and feels compressed, then you can move on to the next step. The next step is fixing the lip. It should be wet, and as a right-handed person, I will do this at 6 o'clock with my left finger on the inside, thumb on the outside, and my right index finger horizontally on top. Supporting from all sides, I gently create strength in the lip. The final step of creating a pot or throwing a pot is to pull up the walls. Now this is one of the trickiest steps, but it's very important that you are careful about it and control it, because this is what's going to create the form. I use a sponge in my right hand. As I'm a right-handed person, I will work on the right side of the pot. My two fingers, my index and middle finger, are going to work on the outside, and my index and middle finger of my left hand will be on the inside. And I try to work at about 4 o'clock. My hands are touching, my elbows are on my legs, and I'm going to pull this wall by squeezing it just a little bit and moving in and up. My outside fingers are pulling the wall, my inside fingers are supporting the wall. I never want to squeeze too much at once, and I want to try to make everything even. When I get to the top, I fix the lip. and I do it again. Adding water as needed. Pulling up the walls, coming in and up, and then fixing the lip. If you squeeze too hard, you can run into problems, but if you continue to do it, just gently but firmly, you will create a pot. Every once in a while, as you repeat the pulling up the walls and fixing the lip steps, you need to go in and get the water out. Water can eat away at clay, and you want to make sure that you've got the water out and you've got a compressed base. If your pot gets too tall for your arm to stay on your elbow on your leg, you can straighten it out, but just make sure that your hands are connected and stable and strong whenever you're working. Once you've pretty much thinned out your walls so they're approximately 1/4 of an inch thick, then you want to straighten them and finish them up. Once you feel that your pot is done, you then just need to clean it up and remove it to save it. First thing you want to do is you want to take the water out. Once you have the water out, you can then compress the base, making sure it's nice and flat for our cylinder. Fix the lip.